this is going to get us the Emmy. I can feel it.
This is the one, Brian.
I love it. I can definitely see that not happening. So we're good.
Wait till the editing magic hits it.
Yeah, you'll see. You'll all see.
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to the Microsoft Mega Byte for July 30th, 2020. It's July 30th? It's almost August? Are you kidding me? Someone really needs to get me a calendar. Anyway, I'm your host, Brian Govatos, and today it's all about Xbox. It's all about gaming. We bring in the big guns. We bring in Josh Baccetti and Jim Urbaitis to come and talk to us about the current Xbox ecosystem, the current Xbox strategy, where are things going, what's the day in the life like for someone who works inside Xbox, and what's around the corner. What do you need to be prepared for your customers, for when you're back in stores and dealing with all these questions. Maybe you're a core gamer, maybe you're not. No matter the case, we have the goods for you in this episode. So without further delay, let's join our conversation with Jim Urbaitis and Josh Baccetti. Okay, this is very exciting. Ladies and gentlemen and friends of all shapes, sizes, colors, and backgrounds, we are here on the Microsoft Mega Byte podcast, and this week, it's all about Xbox and gaming. And yes, you're right. That means I had to bring on guests because I don't know what I'm talking about in terms of Look, I got to level with you guys. I've had kids. I've had some years of focusing on my career and stuff, and all these new titles coming out, these new franchises, this IP, these consoles. I don't understand it anymore as much as I should. So I brought in the top guns.
Spoiler alert: the guy you're about to introduce is in the same boat, but just happens to work on Xbox, and that's the only reason there's some struggle for credibility.
What? Wait. He says he's in the same boat. Why did we get him then? It's too late to change?
Yep, too late to change. Pretend that I know what I'm talking about.
That is the self-deprecating voice of Jim Urbaitis. Thanks so much, Jim, for joining us. And we also have Josh Baccetti, my BFF gamer bro, who will help educate me and possibly even Jim on some of the cultural significances going on. Hello, Josh. Hello, Jim.
Thank you very much for that bittersweet intro there, Brian, because I definitely feel confident that I'm going to be besting you in the Xbox knowledge, but assuming that I would know anywhere near the level of the notorious Jim Urbaitis would just be not a smart thing to commit to. So happy to be here. Very, very happy to have Jim with us, and I'm excited to see where this will go.
Yeah, I'm blushing. I appreciate the kind words. I'm excited to see what we can do to instill some knowledge amongst all of us.
Well, Jim, I've stuck my foot in my mouth many times by trying to introduce someone who works at Microsoft by butchering their title or giving the title that was maybe 2 days old, which is now totally changed. So would you please give us a quick introduction of, who you are, where you're from, what your role is, and maybe a little glimpse into what a day in the life looks like for you?
Yeah, let's do that. So my name is Jim Urbaitis. I lead our category, product marketing, and what we call IMC, Integrated Marketing Coordinators. I lead the teams for Xbox video games and Xbox accessories in the North America region. What does that mean, really? At the end of the day, we're trying to create some awesome plans to share with the gamers out there when a new game launches or a new accessory is coming out. So when we think about anything game-related, anything accessory-related, whether it's the Elite 2 controller or the new news that we just shared on Halo Infinite, myself and my team are responsible for bringing that to market in the North America region, focused on all of our key retailers that are out. My background, I'll give you a little bit. Let's do the Reader's Digest, and that's for all the people who are 35 plus. When I reference that, we'll also call it TLDR, and that's for anyone who's under 35. I'll give you my quick background of who I am. So I've spent about 7.5, 8 years working at Microsoft on Xbox. The whole time, all of it has been on Xbox. Prior to that, I was in marketing and worked for a company called Procter & Gamble and worked on a bunch of different brands. One of them was Old Spice. A lot of people are familiar with the Guy on a Horse campaign back in the day.
Yes.
That was me and 3 other people that were responsible for that. So it's kind of a cool little fun story, fun fact. I've worked on a bunch of different brands, but I left my old employer in 2013 to make a move that was purely based on passion. I decided if I was going to leave a good job in a good company, it was going to go to work on a brand that I love as a consumer. And one of the top 3 brands that I love is Xbox. I have been a gamer my whole life, and it was a process and a challenge to land a job at Microsoft. But once I had the opportunity to jump ship and hop on the Microsoft Xbox train, it made sense for me to do it, and I haven't looked back. And that's what I think makes me feel like I'm a gamer now that I'm a little bit older. I have a job and a family and some kids running around and a wife and everything else in between. I don't get to play nearly as much as I want to, nearly as often or as frequently. But what I do get to do is wake up every day and think to myself, this is pretty awesome. I'm working on Xbox in the games industry. And when I get to go to certain websites like IGN or Polygon, that's actually to do work, which is a bit of a laugh at times because I'm excited. The number one thing I'm passionate about in my job is video games, and I'm working on video games. So it's a pretty good place to be.
What has been a big shift you've noticed as we've gone from console to console and now are thinking about the future? Are there any critical changes that you think really matter, especially to those who are selling and representing what is effectively entertainment and fun in the field?
Yeah, that's a great question. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is what I call the 3 C's. That's content, community, and cloud. And I'll define those in a moment. But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is we're trying to make people smile. And I think that's what's engaging and what keeps me excited about the opportunity to work on Xbox is we're not curing cancer, but we're providing smiles. We're providing friendship. We're providing laughter. We're providing enjoyment. We're providing grief when you lose a match, but then you fire up the next one because you want to go win and be better. So that's really what it's all about. And when we think about content, community, and cloud, the gamer is at the center of every decision we are making. And that's a transformational shift. This is really, our vision has become where we have one hero in Xbox, and that hero is you. That hero is the gamer. You are the gamer, and we are designing everything with the gamer at the center. We used to make decisions based on putting the console at the center of our decision-making structure. So when you think about it, when you launch a console previously, even to the Xbox One generation, when we announced that, backlash or not backlash intended, we talked about this console is going to sit in your home. It's going to be the center of your home entertainment, experience. We want you to put TV through the console and do all of these things. We talked about the console was at the center, like physically the console. And here we are now, fast forward to 2020, and we have made a decision that is remarkably different. And that is putting the gamer at the center of every decision we make. And with that comes the promise of content. So we just had the Xbox Games Showcase last Thursday, and that was on the 23rd of July. And that was a huge unveiling of Halo Infinite for the first time. And you think about the bookend story that we told. We opened the show with Halo Infinite and we closed it with Fable. And then we put so much information jam-packed into the middle where we've basically created the largest, most creatively diverse games lineup in our history of launching a console. Something for everyone. And that's because we put the gamer at the center of every decision. And that's the content piece. Rewind 3 years ago, we had 7 or 8 studios. Now we have 15 studios making games that are across the pendulum of first-person shooters to racing games to action-adventure to you name it, right? We've got that opportunity to tell our content story. Then we think about the community. The community is about everyone who is playing Xbox. And that also incorporates accessibility, whether it's the Xbox accessible story that we tell with the controller, whether it's just saying, hey, we're going to have options that are available for all gamers. The way you want to play the game is we're going to give you that option. And it's just this whole idea of embracing the community, listening to the feedback. And then what we are going to do is we're going to launch a console. We talked about it, Xbox Series X. We announced it last December as kind of a surprise announcement on the Game Awards show. And we're excited about bringing that to life. That's one component of the Xbox ecosystem. But really, you start to think about content. So you've got the games to play. You think about the community. That's the friends you want to play those games with. And then you think about cloud. And that's where Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is such a key portion and part of this story we're telling. And we just announced recently that Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will include Project xCloud in the future, meaning like the future is in September, in just a few months.
Okay, can I stop you on that point? Because I'm listening to this through the ears of anyone who's out there selling PCs or representing Microsoft in a way that does not consider themselves in any way, shape, or form a gamer. So when you say, and you're clearly excited about like something like Project xCloud, and I know for me, Josh had to really, really ramp me up on what the realities of what Project xCloud represents. So if you are talking to a non-gamer, someone who considers themselves a non-gamer, maybe play some casual games from time to time, but they need to be able to explain what this means and how it really bolsters the value of Game Pass Ultimate. What is that pitch really for what something like that added benefit of Project xCloud will mean to your subscription as it becomes available?
Yeah, and so Project xCloud is going to allow you to play over 100 Xbox titles on your phone or tablet. Literally, imagine you had to have your console hooked up to a TV and you were playing it as you normally would, sitting on a couch, either with your friends in the room playing couch co-op or on Xbox Live, playing a multiplayer game, or just playing by yourself in a single-player campaign. Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will unlock and will include at no additional cost Project xCloud, which literally allows you to pull up over 100 titles on your phone and stream it to your phone and play these games. So imagine when Halo Infinite launches, you and your friends can play together, immerse yourself in the world of the Halo universe and play as Master Chief. And you can do it anywhere you go across all the devices you own. Now, sure, there's a small asterisk there, meaning like you got to have some sort of bandwidth and Wi-Fi and download, upload capability. You know, the world is moving from 4G to 5G.
Yeah.
Right? We're going to be there with them step by step. And I've tested this. I have a preview version of it on my cell phone and iPhone that I can hook up a controller via Bluetooth to my phone and play games on my phone. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty amazing.
And so it's almost the logical extension of, when we launched Xbox One, the, game streaming, and throughout the house, we were talking about the power of, you can get a Windows 10 PC and use the power of your Xbox to stream it so you're no longer tethered to that living room station if you want to go to your room or something. And this just seems like a logarithmic leap forward in terms of that same promise.
You nailed it. You nailed it. You're no longer locked to the living room where your console is. You can do your movie and music streaming services. You can cloud game, all of these things with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And that means you can play your game wherever you left off on any of your devices. So imagine I'm playing Halo Infinite. I get to the end boss of a certain level and surprise it, I can't beat it. And I gotta close down for the night. But the following morning, this is all in a post-COVID world and dreams
right.
state that doesn't exist now. I'm hopping on a bus, and it's like the connector bus, which is the Microsoft bus, taking me to the office. And I got a 45, 55, 65-minute commute. But there's Wi-Fi built in to those buses. I'm not saying all buses have Wi-Fi. I can literally pick up the game and play it the next morning on my drive into the office instead of checking email or getting caught up on work. I can do what I really want to do, which is play games. I could be on a business trip, right? Sitting in a hotel room. There's always the pretense and assumption that you can get a strong enough signal. But this has been tested, and it should be working across the majority of these scenarios, and play games while I'm on a business trip. Right now, I don't leave my house. It's work from home. But you get the sense of why we're doing this and the direction we're heading.
I think that this story that you're laying out has so many branches that stem from it. One being the story of quality, that these are titles that are Xbox titles, whether from whatever studio they come from. They are in the library for a reason, and we know that they're quality titles. So you're not just playing a different variation of a knockoff of Animal Crossing or something that has it's laden with ads. You're playing a real title.
You nailed it. You nailed it. And that's part of what the Xbox Game Pass story is all about. So right now, you can go and subscribe to Game Pass, preferably Ultimate, because that's your best deal. You can subscribe to Game Pass and get access to a library of 100 plus games. And right now, in that library, it's not only our first party games that are launching day and date. So meaning when Ori and the Will of the Wisps launch, or Sea of Thieves, or Gears 5, or Halo Infinite, you get to play all of those the day that they're available for everyone else. They're part of your subscription to Xbox Game Pass. But when you go Ultimate, which gives you not only access to the library, but it gives you access to Xbox Live, now you're talking multiplayer gaming plus all of these games for a pretty solid price every month. And then we have just announced that we're throwing in Project xCloud at no additional cost to the subscription of Game Pass Ultimate, which, the going rate is $14.99 for Game Pass Ultimate per month. It's a streaming service compared to all the other things that are out there. You get a library of 100 plus games, you get Xbox Live, multiplayer gaming. And now we're saying, not only can you do that, but for that same price, you will get included in your package of Ultimate, you'll get access to xCloud, which will allow you streaming to all of your other devices.
If you are talking to a retail professional today and they're slowly getting back into the stores, getting comfortable with whatever this new normal might be, but things are in various stages of customer interaction, of course, with social distancing and everything, but things are happening. So if you are a retail pro, what are some things that you would want them to really understand or embody, or how could they be prepared for the next generation of consoles, for the next generation of Xbox?
Yeah, so it's all about the triple threat. And those three things as part of the triple threat are one is Xbox Series X. It is the new console. It is ushering in the new wave of performance and precision and graphics and everything that comes with it. It's going to be pretty astounding, pretty outstanding, and pretty amazing. Part of that is then Halo Infinite. So you've got the console launching with our cornerstone of our first party content, our flagship of content, our flagship title, Halo as a franchise. Halo has not launched day and date with a console in 19 years. This is the first time since the original OG Xbox that Halo will be launching the same day that a console launches. So you get a new console, you get brand new content from our beloved franchise of Halo in the story of Halo Infinite, and then you've got Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. That's the triple threat, right? You've got the console, the content, and the cloud. So when you think about it, it all ladders up to the 3 C's, the triple threat, whatever you want to call it, content, community, and cloud. We're checking those boxes with the launch of a console called Xbox Series X, the launch of Halo Infinite, and the continued improvement into Xbox Game Pass Ultimate.
All right, Jim. So I gotta know. We recently came off of a big Xbox game showcase, as you know, a huge event, which typically falls around that E3 timeframe that we're all used to. And in the world today, obviously, we're not able to see all of our fans in our community face to face. So, these live events are really a great opportunity to convey the value of Xbox and the kind of priorities that we want to push forward and the excitement to come with this new era. And it seems to me that the stream went really well last week. It was really cool to see all the different content coming to Xbox. And again, you mentioned it earlier, starting off with Halo Infinite and then ending with Fable, which I have to say is one of my favorite franchises of all time. It really kind of made for a very Xbox passionate centric event where we're moving towards, like you said, the OG Xbox fans all the way through to the new Series X console, and trying to provide something for everybody, the newcomers to our platform or our ecosystem. But also, I think that showcase really kind of sent a message of thank you and just the immense support that Xbox has received from that community. And I think with titles like Psychonauts 2, Fable, and Halo Infinite, it's continuing to provide that massive thank you to the community and hoping to push the boundaries of gaming with our franchises that we've known for decades now.
Yeah, you nailed it. There were some really exciting surprises and delightful moments for me during the showcase. And one of those was Gunk, which is a new game coming from Image and Form, and they do the SteamWorld series. And that's one of my favorite series.
Can you repeat that title one more time, Jim? Just make sure everyone out there gets it.
It's called The Gunk. It's a crazy, weird, funky title. Gunk, The Gunk.
Cool.
And it's from one of my favorite smaller independent studios, and they're making a game that will be a timed exclusive on Xbox Series X. So they have a great history and track record of the SteamWorld series, which is SteamWorld Dig 1 and 2, SteamWorld Heist, and SteamWorld Quest, of which I believe Dig 1 and Dig 2 are both part of Game Pass Ultimate right now. So you can go play these amazing games, these platformers. But that was a fun little surprise. Everwild looks beautiful. We surprised the fans with Stalker 2, which just looked like a crazy, awesome looking, beautiful game. Avow is coming in the not so distant future, which people get really excited when you think about what Obsidian has done in the past. And then there's just Tell Me Why, a few other titles thrown in there. I mean, the list goes on. There was so much to digest. That it was just an exciting moment, and it's fun to be in the industry. It's fun to work on this, and it's fun to see where the future is going.
Josh, Jim, this has been so fun. It's fun to talk about something fun. I mean, look, yes, the latest demos in Excel are titillating to a degree, but, you know, talking about Halo just has a little bit of a different energy to it. I got to be honest. So it's a joy to talk about Xbox and gaming, and certainly with what the future represents. And again, if you are out there listening and you are affecting sales in stores and you're talking to customers about these things, it doesn't matter if you consider yourself a gamer or not. Just knowing these benefits that people who really live a gaming type of lifestyle and they love it. This is a core part of their entertainment and their de-stressing. Knowing things about Game Pass Ultimate, the catalog, the quality of the games, the incredible cloud-based features coming soon, like Project xCloud. Those will help your attach in ways that are incalculable. Just telling those stories like you've heard Jim tell so eloquently here will really, really be a boon for your attach. So it's been great having you guys on. I would love to go around real quick. I would be remiss not to ask, what would you say if you had to answer the question of your all-time favorite title?
All right, I'll take a stab. First, I'll say attach. That is a key word that I talk about every day. I didn't mention it until now because I want you to hear the passion and the excitement for Xbox. At the end of the day, this does drive a pretty tremendous opportunity for attach. It's exciting, but with that, I've got a handful of games. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna name a few games, more than one. Mm-hmm. The number one game of all time is not an Xbox playable game. It would be Zelda Breath of the Wild on Xbox. Sure. On Nintendo Switch, hands down, the best game top to bottom that I've ever played. And in between there, some games that come to mind: Mario Kart 64, Grand Theft Auto 5, Far Cry 3, and then I play a bunch of Hearthstone on my phone to make me feel like a gamer on a daily basis. Yes. So I span the gamut of Xbox games, non-Xbox games, and I can name a handful more of games that are on Xbox that I absolutely love.
Oh,
Witcher
yes.
3, Batman Arkham Asylum, Diablo 3. Those are just a few.
I would say that's a pretty stellar list, Jim. I have to be honest, I'm kind of nervous now to even answer my portion of this. I figure the best way to go through these, I'll say what I play on my phone the most, PC and the console. So console, Fable Anniversary or the original Fable. I mean, you could do your toss up with which version you like better, but Fable was what got me into gaming when I was a kid, and it's a game that, even though it was made for the OG Xbox, it's a title that I've continued to go back to probably once a year, every year as I've evolved from that OG Xbox because it was a title that had so much depth for its time. Not a lot of games that came out around the same time as Fable really had the kind of play time that you could really invest into that game or the replay value. And so it always has a big, big spot in my heart for being a huge beat for me, turning from a core gamer to a casual gamer to a core gamer on the phone.
And you can use your Game Pass app to download Fable directly to your console from an app if you're a Game Pass subscriber. And I tell you, because I actually just loaded Fable over the weekend via an app.
It's amazing. The Fable Anniversary version, I think it was at Games with Gold not too long ago, but it's also on Game Pass.
You got it.
Yeah, amazing title. And I actually started leveraging, I think it was a couple years ago, but I was leveraging the one of the features with Xbox that allows you to like pull up the mini map on your phone and stuff. So it was really cool to kind of have an extension off of the game to go back and enjoy that. But on the PC, Elder Scrolls Online has all my time right now. I was a big Skyrim player on the Xbox 360. I probably burned that disc from playing it so much. And getting into this open world on PC, it's awesome to get back into Tamriel and those light characters. And on the phone, I play a fair amount of PUBG Mobile. PUBG, obviously, we had a good chapter with PUBG. It was the top battle royale for a long time. As the genre started to get more familiar and popular to people, different developers kind of took it in their own directions, which is awesome. But yeah, those would be my three, at least for right now.
Wow. Well, as the noob, I will just share my one answer for this. My favorite game, and it still pulls me back in, and it is available on Xbox too, is Portal 2. And Portal 2 to me represents a whole psychological study in like taking a game that is clearly it's just a puzzle game. You're just solving puzzle after puzzle after puzzle, yet somehow you forget that you're doing that. They've done just such a masterful job of writing a title, a sequel that has crazy emotional content, story driven, a sense of direness and eeriness, but yet it's just window dressing for what is effectively a puzzle game. I really respect that.
You need to go play Observation. It's part of Game Pass. I'm
typing that down right now.
It's part of Game Pass. It's not Portal. Portal.
No, sure.
Don't get me wrong, but it is a puzzle game that is basically story-driven sci-fi thriller, a la with Portal kind of in mind. Not quite as heavy on the puzzles, but you should go check it out. Observation.
I have added it to my queue. Oh boy, this whole Game Pass thing, it really is easy. Thanks for the recommendation. A personal recommendation here on the Microsoft Mega Byte podcast, just for me and not for anyone else. See, that's the kind of value you get.
You can't beat it. Watch out.
Josh, Jim, thank you so much for giving us your time here on the Mega Byte. I hope we'll have you back here after perhaps the next season rolls around, to where we can talk about what just happened instead of what's just around the corner.
Like a plan. Thank you, fellas. I appreciate the teamwork. And I probably should have said this at the beginning, so I'm feeling a bit miffed right now that I didn't say this, but thank you to everyone who's listening, who you do your job day and day to make us look good by selling more of our products. And I appreciate everything you do in the field. It's such a critical and important role. And the interaction and the interface with the consumers and all the customers and all the gamers. Thank you. I really do truly appreciate everything that goes into it.
This has been the Microsoft Mega Byte podcast, a training tool for Microsoft field team members and sales professionals across the country, produced by Microsoft employees.